guys, welcome to another day, our 3 p.m. live. Today is Tuesday and we're chatting with somebody who is amazing and so much fun. You're gonna love this one. I'm gonna wait for a few people to join in before I add her in. Today I'm chatting with Aanchal Morwani, who is the founder of Hot Hair Balloon, someone whose energy is infectious, somebody who I really love the way she's carried out her work and the stuff that she does. So I hope that you enjoyed this conversation today as much as I will, I'm sure. Let me get her on. Hi to everyone logging in. Hi Tamira, hi Lavina, hi Dhanisha, hey Sid, hey Farah, hey Mona. Thanks for being our regulars every day at 3.
Hello.
Hi. I'm so excited to have you here because I know that it'll be a fun-filled chat.
I've been waiting since the past 2 minutes and you had such sweet things to say and I was like, let's get this party started.
Yeah, because you always, you add so much life to every room that you enter. And of course, you've done my hair in the past as well and you added lots of life to that for sure.
Oh,
but I'm so excited to have you. Yeah, oh my God, I spent the whole day in the parlor. I think I spent 10 hours with you that day.
Yeah, that's how it is with me. But you'll be happy at the end of the day.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's so good to have you here. How are you doing? How's your quarantine lockdown life?
Honestly, I think that I'm busier than before. And I know I keep saying this every time. By the grace of God, of course. And I'm very happy and thankful to be busy. But I did not expect to be this busy. So touch wood, it's going well.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me as well, I just didn't anticipate being this busy. I wake up early, I sleep early, but the day is just packed. But
you know, it's like we're working with blinders on right now. We have nothing as a source of entertainment other than my husband cooking and then getting me drunk later eventually. But I mean, I'm literally just working all the time.
By the way, that's one of my biggest questions. The last question is about your husband's cooking. I'm definitely getting there. So, yeah, I'm definitely getting there. I'm so jealous about that. But yeah, you've been having a good quarantine. I think that you're actually really productive lockdown.
Yeah, it's been superb. So far, so good. I honestly, I didn't even think that it would branch out this way. Obviously, we're going to get into talking about the whole online consultation thing.
Yes.
But yeah, let's begin.
Yes. So today, Aanchal, I'm talking to you about your journey, more about understanding how you started and how you've grown so well and so fabulously. And I know it's all your hard work. So I want to talk to you about first, how did you start? How did you choose this career path and how did you think of Hot Hair Balloon?
Oh, okay, great. So, so first of all, hairdressing was never part of my plan. It was never my career. I never grew up wanting to be a hairdresser. So I'm sure you're aware of this, but my parents have a nutrition-based company called Health Total, and my mom's handles the technical aspect of it. She's Anjali Mukherjee.
She's amazing.
She's the pioneer of nutrition and health in our country.
Absolutely.
Other than that, my father is the brains and everything behind the brand, behind the company, behind the marketing, behind the advertising. Everything is him. So she handles the technical aspect and he handles everything else. So together they've always made a great team. So me, while growing up, I have always been fascinated by advertisements, whether it's print, whether it's not, I mean, obviously not digital, but whether it's print, whether it's TVC, it's always fascinated me. So I must share this incident with you. So when I was young, I think ever since I could remember, maybe by the age of 13, 14, when you actually start registering things, this used to be me and my dad's favorite pastime. We used to watch ads in between films.
Are you serious?
And at a very early age, because that time he used to work on all the ideas himself. He used to create all his ads. In fact, one of his ads were picked up years ago. I'm talking about 96, 97 at the Cannes Ad Festival. And I think it won. So anyway, he used to discuss ads with me. And he would always ask me at the age of 14, what did I understand out of this ad? Like, did I like it? Did it appeal to me? And slowly our conversations got more in depth, where he would ask me, what is your layman perspective? So then him and I would be like the professionals at it, and
Discussing it. Yeah.
what would be my layman perspective on the same thing. So advertising marketing is something that has fascinated me since a very early age. The plan was, when we were together in Jai Hind, right? You were with me in Jai Hind.
Yeah.
So I did BMS, which was BMS in Jai Hind. And after that, the plan was to do an MBA. Now, back then, we had to show consistency at a job and get that work X in order to get your whatever proper college booked at that time.
Yeah.
So the first job that I took up was at Dentsu, which was an advertising agency. And I sucked it up for an entire year, and I worked on the most boring brand on the planet, which I don't want to mention, but it was a bank. Let's just put it that way. We all know how banks are. They are true to their rule books and their guidelines, but I feel it was a blessing in disguise, because I actually understood colors, fonts, uniformity, only because of that brand. I mean, if it was a fun, frivolous kind of brand like Fruity or something like that, maybe it would have been different, you know. But it really, really taught me a lot. It taught me everything that I do today and I apply today. So honestly, I told my father at the end of that, look, I love you and I'm so happy you want to send me abroad, but I don't think I can work at a cubicle for some time, like at least 6 to 7 to 8 months. So what I love about my father, because here's like the full marks go only to my dad in this, that he basically was completely supportive of me choosing anything and everything that I want. He's always told me that you are my son. He doesn't call me his daughter. He calls me his son.
My father says the same thing.
Yeah.
My father says the exact same
thing. I took it upon myself that I would, take Hell Total forward, and I would play his role. And my younger sister, Suchi, she's very academically oriented. She's super intelligent. I'm not bookish at all. I'm not a reader. I'm very visual. So very clearly, we had two parts that were forming. Suchi would handle mom's part, and I would handle dad's part.
Yeah.
But then, the bank job happened, and client servicing happened, and the desk job happened, and then I said, oh my God, I don't think I can do this now. So I said, I'm going to pick an interest. I took a sabbatical. My dad's like, spell sabbatical. I was 21, 22. I was like, please just, stop being nasty.
Yeah.
So I took about a 6 to 7 month, I just took off for that time. And I feel that I'm someone who's very restless. I can't sit idle. I have to constantly do something. So I picked 4 interests. So I picked psychology. I picked cooking, being a chef. I picked photography. And I just picked hairdressing for the fun of it, because it's always fascinated me. So literally, step by step, I've ruled each one out. So when it came to psychology, I still love it, but I'm honest with myself. I know I'm not going to study. I'm not going to read those books. Okay.
Yeah.
If I can't put myself to doing that, then how can I, commit to a profession like that? Let's just be honest. The second thing is, the second one was being a chef. Now for me, I'm someone who always, always, always believes in fundamentals. Now, because we did something like BMS, which was more marketing based, I should have done hospitality during my younger years. I should have done what Anand did, which was Cordon Bleu and what was the other one? La Roche from Switzerland. Like, these are proper hospitality institutes, right? But I didn't do that. So I said, no, I'm not going to waste more time right now. I'm going to figure something else out. And then there was a tie between photography and hairdressing. Now, this is absolutely no offense to anyone who's a photographer. This is just my personal take on authenticity and photography and hairdressing in that context.
Yeah.
No matter how beautiful a picture you may click, and I'm saying this because I have done client servicing. I do understand cleanup, system correction, system work, all these terms. I mean, because I was
Yeah.
so involved in that aspect, no picture is ever clicked as is. I mean, even on your iPhone, there's a mode called auto, right? Which you click
Yeah.
and it just. So for me,
Beautifies it.
somewhere
Yeah.
I felt that, I don't know, you know, you still have to edit it. And the fact that you have to tweak it ever so slightly is the deal breaker for me. And
Yes.
that's when I picked hairdressing, because I felt what you create is completely yours. It's got your mark, your stamp on it, and there's nothing you can change after it. It's once
Yeah.
done, it's out on display. Let the world go see
Yeah.
what it is. And that's pretty much how I came, I boiled down to hairdressing.
And you went and studied this somewhere.
Yes. So my parents have always made me work immensely hard for everything that I wanted in life. So I
Yeah.
told my parents that, hey, I want to go to London. I want to go to Vidal Sassoon. My father said, nothing doing. You better be damn sure that you want to do this. So I said,
Yeah.
okay. So it took me like a month or two, because I was like super excited that, you know, it's not a corporate job. I don't have to put on a shirt. I can wear what I want. The environment is so different, and we'll be getting into this a little later as well.
Yeah. You're
So,
exactly the vibe of somebody who's a fabulous freelancer. Let me put it that way. Right?
thank you so much.
But it's true because you dress the part. So like even me, I can't wear formal clothes. No chance.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not who we are. It kills our personality. You just need to be out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my parents said no, nothing doing. My father said you have to prove it to me. So I did my first course. He said just do a course in Bombay. I did it from Christine Valmy, and
Okay.
I got a taste and a feel of something completely different. Like I didn't even know that hair had so much to it. You know,
Yeah.
it's, you know, I remember back then when I was young. This is when I was 24. So what is this? Yeah, 7-8 years ago.
Yeah.
It wasn't even that big at that time, and I had some of my friends tell me, Anchal, are you stupid? Like, you're an intelligent girl. Why would you
Huh.
do something like hairdressing? And honestly, at that time, I didn't even have an answer to it, because I didn't look at it as stupid or dumb or vain. I just looked at it as something that I enjoy and something that I like. And once I started learning it, I was like, oh, wow, this is interesting. And so anyway, then I did that course and I loved it. But like I told you, fundamentals are everything for me. So I want to go to the
Yeah.
best of the best. So that's when I went to Vidal Sassoon. This was in 2010, 2011. Yeah, pretty much there. I went to Vidal Sassoon and I fell in love with London.
Yeah. Like
And
us
of course,
all of us.
hairdressing. But
Yeah.
I fell in love with everything over there. And I came back full of spark and zest. And then there was this very dear friend of mine, Kingsley. He used to work at BBlunt before. And he said, Anshal, so I came back in like August. Okay, by the way, I did not want to come back to Bombay at all. I must have gone with my resume to at least 40 salons that time in the period of 2 months, till my visa had expired. The student visa had expired. But that time they were not hiring interns at all, and it was very difficult. It still is. So when I came back, he told me, don't look left, don't look right, just straight sign up with BBlunt. And that's exactly what I did. So in 1.5 months of returning, I joined BBlunt. I signed their contract. I was with them for 3 years. And I finished 3 years, and about that time is when I was getting married. And I knew that I wasn't ever cut off for any form of 9 to 5 job, even if it's hairdressing, even if it's something I love. I just needed it to be as on my time, on my terms.
Yeah.
So BBlunt is, what do I say? BBlunt are my true work parents in a way. They have whiplashed me into the person that I am today, not just in terms of work, but in terms of personality, temperament. You know, there's no nonsense that you could give to BBlunt and they would accept it. Like, I remember the first 6 months, I used to, you know how when we were young, we used to party so much more.
My God.
I used to pretend to be hungover, and none of the girls could care less about me. I used to pretend to throw up, hoping someone would just you know, let
Say
me
go
go
home.
home, half day or something, sick leave, nothing doing, nothing doing. And I think like I'm so grateful for them to be
Yeah.
so strict and so stern with me. The best training that I could have got after going to the best institute, which is Vidal Sassoon, is
Yeah.
B-Brand.
I think
So
you
in
learn on the
terms of,
job, and that's the best part, right?
yeah, it's, you know, in fact, like, so I assisted for an entire year, wherein I was the shampoo girl. So it started off with me
Are you
sweeping the
serious? I
floor.
didn't know that.
Yes, this is how it
Oh,
starts in hairdressing, and I respect it so much. I mean, how else
absolutely.
can you get big if you don't start with the smaller jobs? You know.
Absolutely.
So I used to hate cleaning. Let's be honest. I never enjoyed cleaning. I was quite lazy with it, but I
Yeah.
enjoyed sweeping. I was diligent with sweeping.
Huh.
So my mentor Naz, I used to assist her all the time. So like literally, she would like cut the first section or the second section or the third section. Before you know it, whoop, it's gone. Whoop, it's gone. And she would literally tell me like, I'm gonna trip on my client if you sweep so often. So yeah, it started with sweeping and product cleaning, and then shampoo girl, and then
Wow.
just assisting. And by assisting, I mean literally standing next to her and handling foils, giving out sections, foils, sections. Matlab, it was non-stop. You know, this is the advice that I would like to give anybody in this line of work. You don't realize the ambient knowledge that one gains through the ambient environment in this process. We learn most without us focusing on what we're supposed to focus on.
Yes. Yes.
So means I keep telling my assistants today when they assist me that please pay attention to the way I am talking. And let me tell you this, Shan, I did not even realize it. It's almost subliminal. Everything that they've taught me has gone into a deeper layer of my brain where
Yeah. Yeah.
I started thinking, oh, I truly believe in natural hair, natural texture, natural curls. Still, I happened to meet someone via someone and they said, oh, I go to B-Bland, oh, Naz, oh, she is all about this. And I was like, oh my God, this is exactly where it stems from.
Yeah.
You sometimes tend to forget that it becomes such an inherent part of you.
Part of
You
you.
forget
Yeah.
that someone has taught you that. You start thinking, oh, I actually think like that. You know nothing
Yeah.
when you join this line
Yeah.
of work or in any
Yeah.
line of work. You know nothing.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
so imperative to have a good, solid mentor who you can,
Completely agree. Completely
who
agree.
can guide you through it.
And
So
I
I
feel like you
love
learn
that.
in every job that you do. So whether you're even putting foils or you're cleaning the floor, you're still watching, you're still learning. It's that thing of, okay, chalo, I'm here. Let me make the most of the time I'm here.
Exactly.
And even your experience of going abroad, even maybe there's a reason you didn't get an internship, then you were meant to come back and
Yes,
this process was meant to
100%.
happen.
I wouldn't trade B-Blood for anything now in the world.
See, so yeah, it worked out the way it was supposed to. But Anshul, we keep talking on my lives that I've been doing. We keep talking about growth and growing in a freelance. So a lot of us, like, so for example, for me, I've done 6 internships when I was in Jai Hind, and after that, I never did a job because I always joined what my mom was doing or did it on my own. And
Right.
we always talk about the growth today. Now we're in college, times were so different. But
Yeah,
social media is such a big part of everyone's life. I mean, let's
of
be honest,
course.
50% of this quarantine is social media that's helping us
100%. 50 would
get
be
through.
not, I would
Yeah,
say way more. I mean, if it was,
way more.
someone was talking to me and said that the basic essentials are electricity and water. I said, I 100% agree with you. But also, in that exact same space is internet and a cell phone.
Yes,
If people
yes.
did not have that, and people would be on the road, like no one could sit at
Yeah,
home. No one.
honestly, you're absolutely right. And so this is what I asked, like, how big a part has social media played in growing Hot Air Balloon to where you are now? And what advice would you give a freelancer who's really looking to grow on social media? So a lot of people just think by like advertising, you're going to buy a bunch of likes and hey, I'm there. But I don't believe in this at all, and I'm pretty sure you don't either.
Not
So
at
can
all.
you just tell us your thoughts
Of
about
course.
this?
So, social media, I think we are blessed in a time like today where we have something like social media. There's so many people who tell me, so there are people who also tell me otherwise that, I'm a shy person, I'm reserved, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to play that game. What they don't understand is that it is the need of the hour. Back